everyone and welcome to my top 5 Belgian Grand Prix moments that left me in awe. So basically 5 moments that I think were worthy of being mentioned and were shocking and exciting at the same time. So 5th place we do have Romain Grosjean and Felipe Massa's results. After a disappointing qualifying, they weren't happy with the car. They were so disappointed and not satisfied at all, but they successfully managed to climb up the field during the race, and Romain ended up in P7 and Massa ended up in P8. So they collected very important points after having a very hard time. Both of them had a very hard time. I mean, Romain has been struggling with brake issues. He's so unhappy with the car since the very beginning of the season, so we have to be happy for him just after these kind of flawless races, which are very rare for Haas lately. And Felipe has been struggling too. He has just done that very strange crash on Friday. He had to miss the Hungarian Grand Prix, so those points are very important to start building momentum ahead of Monza, which is a racetrack that he just loves. So congratulations to both drivers. And at 4th place I do have a very hot topic. So why did Fernando Alonso retire the car? Honda is claiming that there were no problems on that power unit on the 27th lap. But Fernando, on the contrary, he's saying that he had some power issues. But again, I think that Honda might be right, and it is no secret that Fernando is retiring the car every time he's not in the points. I mean, he finished only in Spain and Silverstone, so the 2 home Grand Prix, and it was just to pay some respect to McLaren and to his fans. But because other than that, if it wasn't for Azerbaijan and Hungary, he didn't finish any race, and he just sees no point in keeping up the race and keep on suffering and building up the fatigue for that weak engine. So you cannot really blame him, but you can just wait and see how the relationship evolves between him and Honda, because Spanish rumors claim that Fernando explicitly asked McLaren to get rid of Honda if they really want to keep him for next season, and McLaren is probably looking around for some other options. Renault is the only one other than Honda, so basically the choice would be between these two, and we have to see within the deadline if something happens, and then we'll just start making assumptions over Fernando's future. But again, I think that Fernando is just so done and pissed off against Honda, because he's very happy with the team, with McLaren. They are very hard-working guys. They just built an amazing chassis, so they are suffering too, along with Fernando. It's going to be an alliance between McLaren and Fernando against Honda, and you cannot really blame them. I mean, we are all suffering. It's very painful to watch and see a McLaren like that. Even for people who don't support McLaren, it's very difficult to see a great team with such a good heritage just in the back of the field or in the midfield struggling like that. So you get a feel for them even though you don't like them. And yeah, we feel for Fernando too. And at 3rd place we have Fernando Alonso again. He did amazing at the race start. He actually does very great starts in Spa. I remember the 2015 start as well as the 2016 start, and yesterday it was no exception, because he just jumped 3 places ahead from P10 to P7, and it didn't last too long, but I really enjoyed the battle between him and Nico Hülkenberg. He did an amazing 3-way overtake, and he just overtook 2 cars, Ocon and Nico, and it was a very good battle. Unfortunately, we couldn't see much more of that, but it was very cool anyway. One of the best overtakes so far this year. And at 2nd place, we actually have Lewis's drive. He was amazing yesterday, a very great race, a great performance from the 3-time champion. He was just exploiting the full potential of his Mercedes, and at the safety car restart he wasn't in the most comfortable position, but he managed to build a gap very quickly to Sebastian Vettel, who was just so incredibly fast, and the situation, and by the looks of it, were just favoring him massively. And this is why Lewis on the radio was like complaining, why do we have to keep on racing behind the safety car, there is no debris on the track. So it was kind of understandable that he was so under pressure, but he managed to do everything perfectly, and he successfully defended himself from the Ferrari attack from Sebastian Vettel, and that was a very great move from both drivers, but Lewis was just great in defending himself, and I really enjoyed that. He just deserved it, and kept the expectations as they were, because Spa probably was a Mercedes track rather than a Ferrari track, so Lewis didn't disappoint the team as well as his fans, and he's now just 7 points down in the championship to Sebastian Vettel. So I'm looking forward to seeing this gap reduce so much, and in order to see the closest fight possible. So yeah. And first place, we have a very controversial topic, which is the Perez and Ocon drama, the internal battle between the Pink Panthers, which is very, very exciting as well as entertaining, even though it's some kind of unhealthy drama. But I do feel like these kinds of situations are just great for the sport, because they actually make great headlines, great reactions on social media, so we really need this kind of moments. And whose fault was the crashes? So Checo took the responsibility for the first crash, and this is great, but really the second crash that sent Ocon on the wall near Eau Rouge, it was very, very controversial, and the reaction from Ocon on social media saying that Perez was basically trying to kill him wasn't ideal. It just doesn't help the team. I mean, they already lost many points for Force India, and it's kind of understandable why the team decided not to let them race in a free way for the rest of the season, because they're just damaging themselves. And yeah, the reaction that Ocon had also at the press conference, saying that Checo was so unprofessional, it was a bit too much. He was a bit overreacting. I mean, he shouldn't have said that on social media as well, but at the same time we have to acknowledge the fact that Checo is just going mad every time that Ocon is about to outperform him, just to outshadow and outshine him, because Ocon has been doing great, and the internal fights they had so far were just due to Checo's madness and hot temper, while Ocon might be provoking Checo, not gonna lie, but he's acting more professional. So the most controlled driver won, and it was Ocon, because he was P9, so he collected a few points while Checo had to just retire the car. And once again, Checo's hot temper is not looking great for him as well as for the team. So this kind of drama is not so great, but I myself enjoyed that very much. I think that this is helping in building the Formula One characters that people like Niki Lauda and Emerson Fittipaldi said that are currently lacking in Formula One. I mean, this is not the best way to develop characters, but again, it can be a very nice fight, even though they sometimes act too childish. But yes, these are my moments. Let me know what you think about the overall performance from Lewis, Seb, and Ricciardo as well. He did great on that podium. I mean, I wasn't able to put him in these top 5, but again, he's just worthy of a great mention after the top 5. So well done, Honey Badger. And yeah, let me know what you think about the Force India drama, about Alonso and Honda, and the rest of my points I just made. So thank you very much, guys, and I see you on Friday for the FPI at Monza.